Welcome to our lesson on dividing decimals. Decimal division is very similar to long division. If you can do long division, you can do decimal division. Decimal division, the only extra step that you will take for decimal division is just moving your decimals either to the right or left depending on what your divisor is. In this particular problem, we have 75.943 divided by 5.8. And I'm noticing your divisor, 5.8, you have one decimal place that needs to be moved over. So if you move 5.8, that decimal point one place over all the way to the far right, then you have to do the same thing in your dividend. The 5.9 here, you move that one place over and then up. Once you place that decimal, then it is nothing but long division. 58 goes into 75 how many times, and the way you would figure that out is guess and check. You can use the guess and check strategy. 58 goes into 75. Well, I know that 5 times 2 is 10, so that would be higher. It would be in the hundredths, which lets me know I can go one number lower than 2, which is 1. So 58 goes into 75 one times. 58 times 1 is 58. When I subtract, I get 17. I will bring down my 9. And now the question is, how many times does 58 go into 179? Let's try, once again, it's a guess and check. Let's try 58 times. What you would do, one of the strategies to help you guess a number is look at the 58 and ask yourself 5 times what gives you a number close to the 17. So we know that 5 times 3 is 17. So let's try 3 and see if that one will work. 8 times 3 is 24. Write your 4 and carry your 2. 5 times 3 is 15, plus that 2 makes 17. Now you have 174, which is lower than the 179, so 3 will work in this case. 3 times 58, we just multiplied it here, so your answer is 174. When you subtract, you're left with 5. You bring down your 4. Now you have 54. 58 goes into 54 0 times. 0 times 58 is 58. 0 times 58 is 0. When you subtract here, you're left with the 54 again. You bring down your 3. And you have 58 into 543. I'm going to try 8. 8 times 8 is 64. Write your 4, carry your 6. 8 times 5 is 40, plus the 6 makes 46. Well, 464 is pretty close to 543, but maybe not close enough. Now, let's try 58 times 9. If you notice, on the left side of this board, I am multiplying everything times 58, which is my divisor. And that's the way you come up with your answer for each digit above your dividend. 8 times 9 is 72. Write your 2 and carry your 7. 9 times 5 is 45, plus that 7 makes 52, and that looks like it's close enough to the 543. 522. When you subtract that, 3 minus 2 is 1. 4 minus 2 is 2. You will add a 0 here and bring it down. Now you have 210. I'm looking at all of the answers over here. 58 times 3, the answer is way too high. No, too low, 174. So I'm going to try 58 times 4. 4 times 8 is 32. Carry your 3. 4 times 5 is 20. Plus the 3 makes 23. 232, that's too high, so we will go down to 3. That 210 minus 174. That 210 and bringing it over. That way you'll know where I'm getting that 210 from, and I'm subtracting it from the 174 up here. When I subtract, ten minus 4 is 6. Nine minus 7 is 2. And 1 minus 1 is 0. At that point, I am left with 26 here. But if you notice, in your answer is 13.03. We do not have to divide anymore because we don't need to go any more places other than 2 after the decimal point. So the answer is 13.03. Your next problem is 450.325 divided by 7.15. I see 2 decimal places with my divisor of 7.15, and I see several decimal places in my dividend. Well, you always use the divisor as your determining factor as to how many decimal places you'll move over. So in this case, I have to move it 2 spaces to the right to move my decimals all the way to the right with my divisor. Whatever I do with my divisor, I have to do the same thing with the decimal point in my dividend. So I'll move it 2 spaces over in the dividend. 1 and 2. Once I move those 2 spaces over, then I'll go up to get it ready for the answer. 715 goes into 450 0 times because 450 is lower than 715. Now I'll have to take 715 and divide it in, 4,503 and divide it into 715. Once again, this is a guess and check. I'll take the 715 and I know that 7 times 6 is 42. So I'm going to try 715 times 6. 5 times 6 is 30. Carry my 3. 1 times 6 is 6 plus 3 makes 9. 6 times 7 is 42. 4,290 is close enough, I think, to 4,503, but just to be on the safe side, we'll say 715 and go one number higher than 6. Well, if I try 7, if you look at this 7 times 7, you know that 7 times 7 is 49. So we know that's going to be too high. So let's go ahead and put our 6 here. We've already multiplied it, so copy it down and before you subtract. Now we need to subtract. 3 minus 0 is 3. 10 minus 9 is 1. 4 minus 2 is 2, and 4 minus 4 is 0. We need to bring down our 2. 715 goes into 2132. Let's try 715 times 2. 2 times 5 is 10, carry your 1. 2 times 1 is 2, plus the 1 makes 3. 2 times 7 is 14. We have 1,430. If we tried 715 times 3, it may work, so let's try it. I was thinking it may be too high, but we'll see. 3 times 5 is 15. Carry your 1. 3 times 1 is 3, plus the 1 makes 4. 3 times 7 is 21. And yes, it is just a little bit too high. So 2 would be the correct choice to make there. 715 times 2, we've already multiplied it. The answer is 1,430. And we need to subtract that from the 2132. 2 minus 0 is 2. 3 minus 3 is 0. 11 minus 4 is 7. And we'll bring down our 5. 715 goes into 7,025. Let's try 9. Need a large number for that one. And we know that 9 times 7 is 63. 9 times 5 is 45. Write down my 5 and carry my 4. 9 times 1 is 9, plus the 4 makes 13. Write down the 3 and carry my 1. 9 times 7 is 63, and 1 makes 64. 6435. We need to subtract that from the 77,025. And of course, put our 9 up here. Remember, we only have one more digit to put in our answer. So we only have one more number to divide. 5 minus 5 is 0. 12 minus 3 is 9. 9 minus 4 is 5. And 6 minus 6 is 0. We'll add a decimal placeholder of 0 and bring it down. Now we have 5,900. I'm looking over at the 4 numbers that I have multiplied. I don't see anything close to 5,900, but I do see that 715 times 6 is 4,290. So I'm going to try 715 times 7. Or maybe 8. Let's try 8. 8 times 5 is 40. Write down your 0, carry your 4. 8 times 1 is 8, plus the 4 makes 12. Carry your 1. And 8 times 7 is 56, plus 1 make 57. We have 5720, which is pretty close to 5,900. We need to take that number, take the 8, put it up here, and the 5720, and subtract it from 5,900. Now that we have our two places, our two decimal places after that decimal, we do not have to divide anymore, which makes our answer 62.98. Our next problem is 102.891 divided by 0.204. I'm showing in our divisor we have 3 decimal places that we need to move all the way to the right. 1, 2, and 3. So that means we have to move the decimal places 3 spaces to the right in the dividend. 1, 2, and 3. After we move it over 3 spaces, then we go up. 204 goes into 1028. Let's say 5. 204 times 5. 5 times 4 is 20. Write your 0, carry your 2. 5 times 0 is 0, plus the 2 makes 2. 5 times 2 is 10. And that 1020 is very close to 1028, so 5 will work in this case. 5 times 204 is 1020. When I subtract, I'm left with 8. Bring down my 9. Now we have 89. Well, 89 is smaller than 204, so 204 goes into 89 0 times. 0 times 204 is 0. When you subtract, you have 89 minus 0 is 89. Bring down your 1. Now you have 204 into 891. Let's say 4. No, let's try 2 because 2. No, that was right. Let's try 4 because 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 4 is 16. Write down your 6, carry your 1. 4 times 0 is 4 plus 1. 4 times 0 is 0 plus 1 makes 1. And 4 times 2 is 8. We have 816, which is close enough to 891, so 4 would go right there above the 1. 4 times 204 is 816. Once we subtract, we have 11 minus 6 is 5. 8 minus 1 is 7. We will add a 0 as a placeholder and bring it down. 204 goes into 750. If 204 times 4 is 816, then we can try 204 times 3, one number lower than the 4, and see if that works. 4 times 3 is 12. Carry your 1. 3 times 0 is 0 plus the 1 makes 1. And 3 times 2 is 6. 612. Okay, we know that the 3 is a little bit lower than the 750. However, the 4 is too high, so 3 would be your number to go with. 3 times 204 is 612. And I'm just going to move this that way. 750 minus 612. That will be 10. This will be 4. 10 minus 2 is 8. 4 minus 1 is 3. And 7 minus 6 is 1. 138. 204 will not go into 138, so we'll make that a 0. 204 times 0 is 0. And if you notice, we have our 2 decimal places after the decimal, so we can stop at that point, which gives us an answer of 504.30. And that concludes our lesson on dividing decimals.